You're down. Yeah. Good morning. I'd like to welcome those in the chamber and anyone online. This is Tuesday, December 9th, 2025. This is the weekly meeting of the Board of Commissioners of Weber County. I'm Commissioner Gage Farr. I'll be conducting this morning. With me is Commissioner Jim Harvey. Commissioner Sharon Bolos is out of town. She may be online. I guess, Shelley, you'll notify me?
He's checking. Something's going on with our...
Okay. We're gonna go, just notify me if she comes on. All right, we're going to start this morning with a Pledge of Allegiance. If you join me, and then the invocation will be given by Craig Brandt. We'll go to that point.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our Father in heaven, we thank Thee for this wonderful day. We're grateful for the freedoms that we enjoy in this country and for the community we have around us. We ask that Thy guidance will be granted during this meeting, that we'll have civil discussions, that we'll be able to make decisions on behalf of the county that are wise. We thank Thee for the opportunity to do so, and thankful for the people that we get to serve. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen. Thank you for that. Commissioner comments. Commissioner Harvey.
None of this. Oh, yes, one. I want to just publicly congratulate Olivia Favero.
I said, glad you're going to do that.
She was representing Utah. She was a Miss Rodeo Ogden, and she won the Miss Rodeo Utah, and she was also a high school, national high school rodeo queen, but she competed down in Las Vegas at the NFR these last couple of weeks and was crowned Miss Rodeo America. So every so often, Utah is lucky enough to have a Miss Rodeo America, and Olivia Favero is representing all of us as Miss Rodeo America this year. So congratulations to her and her family. That's a big deal. Her life has changed with that coronation. That's a big, big deal. So, yeah, congratulations.
And as I recall, she's not our first Miss Rodeo America. We've had 3 or 4, I believe.
At least.
Yeah, so Utah, especially Weber County, a good share of those have come out of Weber County.
Most of the ones I can think of all came out of Weber County.
That's what I thought,
Yeah.
so. Okay, anything else?
No?
Appreciate that. I just got notified that Commissioner Bolos is online. Commissioner Bolos, can you hear us?
I can hear you, yes.
All right, thanks, welcome. All right, we're going to get started now with public comments. So we'd ask those in the audience that would like to come up and speak about anything on the agenda. Now is your opportunity to do so. Please state your name, where you're from, and please keep your comments under 3 minutes. So now's your time. Please come up.
All right. Hello, Commissioners. My name is Melanie Dolan. I live at 2879 North Abion Drive, which is the lot directly east of Mr. Maybe's properties that we're discussing. And I am going to read my comments so I can keep it under 3 minutes. I'm asking you to oppose the rezone that does not match the surrounding zoning and rural feel of our area. It'll create many long-term negative impacts for our existing neighborhood. First off, we, the public, have not yet seen a solid, detailed, scaled development plan. So far, what we've seen is just possible conceptual drawings that change from meeting to meeting without accurate property lines, setbacks, floodplain boundaries, easements, or buildable area calculations. approving a rezone without a detailed scale development plan means the county is asked to grant broad development rights first and then let specifics be figured out later, which would not be reasonable planning and would allow Mr. Maybe or anyone he sells his lots to way too much freedom to end up building multiple high-density homes, which could definitely ruin the rural feel of the neighborhood that we all work so hard to end up and where most of us hope to live and have our forever homes be. We have seen this issue before where the county has previously rejected other form-based zoning requests when the parcels were not truly contiguous or the proposal did not fit the general plan, such as the Cowboy Ventures proposal behind Valley Market. This current request has the same problem. It forces high-density pockets, a high-density pocket to jut into our established FV3 neighborhood. And nothing about this location with the surrounding single-family 1 to 3 acre properties that currently define this entire side of the valley. And nothing in form-based zoning requires these homes to remain residential, which is scary. Short-term rentals could be allowed, and small-scale commercial uses could appear directly adjacent to our FV3 homes. This is definitely incompatible with the rural character that this zone is meant to protect. There's also serious practical constraints on this 6 acre parcel. It lies within a 100-year floodplain and contains a creek that flows much of the year right behind our house, which feeds Pineview Reservoir. Proper setbacks must be applied to protect water quality. So when you subtract the creek setbacks, floodplain limits, a road, sidewalks, open space, and required infrastructure, there's only a fraction of the acreage left for actual lots. Access and parking are also unsolved. A road placed along a neighboring property line would create noise, easement pressure, and safety issues, and a through street cannot be built without crossing another privately owned parcel. Water and sewer capacity are also unresolved. Only 2 water conditions are secured for this property today. There's no documented paid-for plan for additional connections a subdivision would require. Multiple septic systems crammed on these lots could contaminate our Pine Creek and ultimately Pineview Reservoir, and extending sewer lines into this neighborhood would legally require many existing homeowners to connect at our own cost, which we have already spent plenty on our septic systems. Lastly, and most important, this proposal puts form-based zoning in the middle of our long-established FV3 neighborhood, creating a precedent that future developers will use to justify pushing density deeper into rural zones simply by claiming contiguous opportunity. And I've heard that the owner of the lot next to Mr. Maybe said if he gets his rezoned, he plans on doing the same. So that's exactly the pattern and chain reaction that the general plan is designed to prevent. So I hope that you will consider these important points, and I appreciate your time and consideration.
Thank you for those comments. I need to clarify that any of the hearings, the public hearings today dealing with these developments, you actually have an opportunity to speak to those developments. But
oh, so this was a jump of the gun. I was just sorry.
That's okay.
Wanted to get it over with.
We'll hear you twice, or we'll make note of your comments.
Okay,
now, so.
sorry.
Appreciate you being here. So again, if your discussion is about one of the public hearings, I'd appreciate it if you save your remarks till then. If it's not, please come forward.
Jan Fulmer, Eden, Utah. Commissioner, yes, this is about one of the hearing items, but there's a technicality which I think you may want to eliminate it from the agenda. This involves the rezone to form base of a parcel in the Nordic area. When the meeting notice came out on the State of Utah Public Meeting Notification System, there was nothing to identify where this parcel was. In addition, when Shelley Halassi puts out the meeting agenda, she always attaches a PDF which has active links in the PDF that points to the detailed information. Both of these notices came out late Friday, December 5th. When I saw the notice from Shelley, I called her up and I said, Shelley, we need the active link for this item. She said, I'm still waiting for the information. I have a snapshot of the website that has the agenda items for your meeting from early on Saturday morning, and the information still was not there. It apparently was added sometime over the weekend because on Monday it was there, but there has been no announcement of an amended agenda. which Shelley always puts out if something changes, and also that goes to the State of Utah meeting notification system. So there was no information distributed as to the location of this parcel, and I do have screenshots if you're interested in looking at them, which have the date and time stamps on them. So I don't know if Chris wants to look at this, but there was not sufficient information for the community to figure out where this was.
Okay, appreciate those. Chris?
Yeah, I'm happy to address that. There's no legal requirement under Utah's open meetings laws to include links, to include a certain amount of information such as parcel numbers. The important thing to keep in mind is there enough information on the agenda to let the public know what the issue is going to be discussed, what if there's going to be any action taken. And so, but there's no actual requirement to include in a link or an attachment. You just need to look at the agenda itself and determine whether you feel the public's had adequate notice.
Okay, we'll take that under advisement. And I understand that there probably is no legal requirement we do so, but I know we've done that in the past. And in the interest of serving the community in the best interest, we may want to consider that before proceeding.
Completely up to you and discretionary as a commission.
All right, we will appreciate that, Jen, for bringing that forward to us. Good information. Okay, anyone else? Now's your opportunity. All right, seeing none, we're going to go ahead and move forward to consent items. Commissioner Harvey, Commissioner Bowles online. So let's start with F1, request for approval of purchase orders in the amount of $90,038.52. F2, request for approval of warrants 106,595 through 106,642 and 494,253 through 494,337 in the amount of $790,124.88. And for a summary of those warrants and purchase orders, we will go to Mr. Ricky Hatch. Welcome, Ricky.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This week we issued 12 purchase orders for the amount of $90,000. Just over a third of that amount, $31,000, is for the jail, and that will go towards accreditation and audit services as well as some software. 26% or $24,000 is for the sheriff. That is a software annual renewal and some equipment. 14% or $13,000 is for the library, and that will be for building maintenance. And then two items at 11% or $10,000, one for the Golden Spike Event Center to purchase panels and flooring, and the other for the roads department to purchase tiles. As far as checks, we issued 133 warrants this week for a total amount of $790,000. 21% of that amount, or $167,000, was an escrow release for the Buffalo Run subdivision, and another 21% or $164,000 is for the jail. That's for primarily building maintenance, culinary needs, and utilities. 9% or $69,000 is for dental and disability insurance for county employees. 5% or $40,000 is for road work and design at 2550 South and 12th Street. These are paid for by transportation tax dollars. The top five payees for this week are Single Tree Acres at $167,000, Salmon Mechanical at $65,000, Elior Incorporated at $60,000, MetLife Insurance at $55,000, and the State of Utah at $45,000.
Thank you for that. Questions or comments about the summary? Commissioner Harvey.
No?
Commissioner Bolos?
None from me, thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's move on.
Wait, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Jason Horn, this is usually if you were to exit, will you shut that door so that bird chirping out there or that alarm going off?
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, that door's being closed. We're going to proceed. All right. F4, request for approval of minutes for the meetings held on June 24th, 2025 and December 2nd, 2025. F5, request for approval of new business licenses. F6, request from the Weber Morgan Health Department for approval to surplus a 2000 Ford F-250, I'm assuming that's 225 SRW. F7, request from the Weber Morgan Health Department for approval to surplus laptops and office equipment. 8, request for approval of a right-of-way contract. by and between Weber County and Wayne Priverdale for corridor preservation along 3300 South using WACOG funds. 9, request for approval of a right-of-way contract by and between Weber County and Sarah Stubbs for a corridor preservation along 2550 South using WACOG funds. 10, request for approval of ratification of a standard farm master agreement by and between Weber County and Prescott Muir Associates Professional Corporation for library projects. 11, request for approval of a memorandum of understanding by and between Weber County and the Utah Department of Public Safety State Crime Lab, allowing CSI to contract ballistic testing at the Utah State Crime Lab's Northern Range. 12, request for approval of a contract by and between Weber County and Victory Athletics Spirit to hold the Ogden Snow Bowl Championship at the Golden Spike Event Center. 13, request for approval of a second amendment to the existing lease agreement by and between Weber County and GT Title Services. I believe that's all the consent items. Commissioner, comments, questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
Just a quick comment before I make the motion. It's great to see the Golden Spike Event Center be utilized in so many other things other than just equine. It's to help that. So without reservation, I'll make a motion, Mr. Chair, to approve those consent items as presented that's listed on our agenda today, F1 through and including 13.
Thank you. We have a motion.
I'll second that.
And we have a second from Commissioner Bowles. Thank you. I'll call the motion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank
Aye.
you. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Let's go to action G1, request for approval of resolution, which would be 57-2025 of the County Commission of Weber County appointing members to the Weber County Weed Control Board. Ms. Shelley Hallisey.
Good morning, Commissioners. First, I'd like to explain what happened with the agenda. The item was sent over on Friday, but it was so large that we needed help from IT to download it to the agenda on the agenda site. And as soon as they were able to get that downloaded, they did. So,
Got it.
okay, Stacy again has been doing the work on these behind the scenes. The Weber County Weed Board met recently to discuss board positions that were expiring. Is that the first one? Let me check. Yes.
It is.
They would like to recommend that Bren Edwards and Tom Favero be reappointed.
All right. Does that conclude your presentation?
That's it on that one.
Questions, comments? If not, I entertain a motion.
They've both served very well, helping mitigate weeds, and we just hope that the cities, the local municipalities, pay attention to this and also do their share in helping fund weed prevention, especially out west. A lot of them travel down the river and then head out. So I have no reservations reappointing to Mr. Tom Favero and Mr. Bren Edwards to that weed control board.
All right. That's a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second from Commissioner Bowles. And let me just make a comment. Since I sit on that weed board and actually stood that weed control board up, 6-7 years ago, Tom Favero and Bren Edwards have both been valuable members of that board. We've made major progress in this county, working with Utah State, working with the state legislature in eradicating those invasive weeds in terms of Dyer's Wood and Ogden Valley, a number of invasive weeds out west. So
Along the river.
Along the river.
Along the river, especially.
So it's very important that we keep those people, especially that are involved with agricultural, which both of those gentlemen are, involved with this weed control board. It's very important. So with that, I'll place a motion. Well, this is a roll call vote.
Roll call vote for Resolution 57-2025. Commissioner Farrar?
No, Commissioner Harvey
No,
be first.
Earl Harvey.
Okay, Commissioner Harvey?
Aye.
Let's get that order straight today, Craig.
Will do. Commissioner Bolos?
Aye.
Commissioner Farrar?
Aye. Motion carries. Thanks. All right. Action G2, request for approval of Resolution 58-2025 of the County Commissioners of Weber County appointing a trustee to the Board of the Powder Mountain Water and Sewer District. Shelley, you're up again.
The Powder Mountain Water and Sewer Improvement District had 2 positions that expire at the end of the year. The notice was posted according to state statute. You have the qualified applications in your packet. 2 members are seeking reappointment. Note, a board member has resigned, so a new notice will be posted next week for the midterm vacancy. Whoever is not appointed today will be asked if they want their application submitted for that appointment.
All right. Commissioner Harvey, this is in your portfolio.
So the 2 reappointments that you're requesting would be for Andrew Stark and for Michael Myra, is that correct?
Yes.
Those would be the reappointments. The other application came from William Donovan, is that correct?
Yes.
There were no other applications other than that?
No.
My recommendation, Mr. Chair, is to reappoint Mr. Andrew Stark and Mr. Michael Myra to that board.
Great.
And that would be Resolution 58-2025.
Thank you. We have a motion on 58-2025. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
One more comment.
Go ahead.
I would encourage that Mr. Donovan reapply for that open position that will be coming available in the next week or so.
Okay.
Thank you for that work on these appointments, Shelley. All right, roll call vote. Craig?
Roll call vote
You.
for Resolution 58-2025. Commissioner Bolos?
Aye.
Commissioner Harvey?
Aye.
Commissioner Faur?
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Let's go to action item G3, request for approval of Resolution 59-2025 of the County Commissioners of Weber County appointing trustees to the board of the Taylor West Weber Park District. Shelley, you're up again.
Okay, the Taylor West Weaver Park District notified the commission that they had 3 positions expiring at the end of the year. Notices were posted according to the state statute. We received 2 applications, with one of them being a reappointment. You have both applications in your packet. Another notice will be posted next week for the remaining vacancy.
Okay.
Based on that, Mr. Chair, I
Yes.
would move that we reappoint James Lance Peterson and David B. Hobbs, the 2 applicants to that Taylor West Weber Park District.
Got it. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Resolution 59-2025.
59-2025. We have a motion and a second. I'm going to place the motion. Mr. Brandt, roll call vote.
Roll call vote for Resolution 59-2025. Commissioner Bolos?
Aye.
Commissioner Harvey?
Aye.
Commissioner Faur?
Aye. Motion carries. Thanks. Let's now go to Resolution 60-2025 to amend the Western Weber General Plan to include water conservation goals and actions required by state law, which would be Section 1779-403. Felix Leverano.
Yes,
Felix,
good morning,
welcome.
Commissioners. This comes from this is a general plan amendment that was staff initiated by the Weber County Planning staff. And this is basically an avenue that we have taken to update this portion of the general plan to become more in compliance with the requirements from the state. And these requirements are specific to water conservation. And so what we've prepared for you today is resolution with an exhibit. The exhibit includes the track changes, exactly what's being changed. To just a kind of a brief description of what's being changed is we'd like to add some more action items into the chapter regarding water conservation. Those action items actually help to kind of guide direction for Planning Commission, Land Use Code, setting policy and regulations, things like that. They also provide direction for the water entities that it pretty much puts notice for these water entities that they have resources available, that the county planning staff is able to help them to obtain these resources, whether they be like grant, things like that, funding for grants for repairs, things like that. So ultimately what we're looking for is to get ahead of the curve and follow state law, and also prepare for the coming growth that's coming to Western Weber. Basically the growth that's already here, to be honest. And so and that really takes care of what I'd like to say. If any questions?
Questions for Mr. Leverino?
I appreciate us and I appreciate you doing this work with this CDBG program so that we can leverage funds and do what we can do with regards to conservation of water. But another question, Mr. Crockett, to you. In the past, I understand, is it legal for this body, this legislative body, to make decisions solely based on water?
No, I mean, there's particular codes in the land use code where it's very limited, but generally that's usually reserved to other entities.
Such as water districts and such.
Yeah.
Okay.
Common with water districts, sewer districts. It's not one of this specific list of municipal services that counties generally provide.
Thank you very much. I don't have any other questions than that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Would you like to make a motion?
Does Sharon have any questions?
Any
I
other?
don't have any questions.
Sharon?
Okay.
No questions.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve, this would be Resolution 60-2025, that we approve the presentation with regards to the Western Weber General Plan and the State Law 17-79-403 as presented by Mr. Yaverino this morning.
Do we have a second?
Second.
And we had a second from Commissioner Bolos. Before I place that motion, I just wanted to make a comment. Felix, appreciate you following up on this. As a sitting member of the Weber Basin Board, this becomes very critical as we look at the water resources we have available in the future and the number of people we have coming into Weber County. It's obviously caught the attention of a number of people at the state legislature that we need to start addressing the use of that water and basically how we preserve as much water as possible. Again, for any of those that have been around this county long or this state, know that we're at the mercy of Mother Nature to provide us water. The only way we can save water is to conserve it. And Weber Basin has taken a very aggressive standpoint in Weber Basin, just for those that are interested, is the wholesaler of water. The state actually is control of all water in the state. Weber Basin is a wholesaler as directed under state code. Weber Basin then retails out to various water suppliers that they need to then be the conveyor of that education on how we actually go about conserving water. But I think the more we can do to educate the public, and one of the things we're doing from the state and Weber Basin is, and you're probably aware of this if you haven't encountered metering, but we're metering both irrigation now, secondary water, and as well as culinary water that's been metered in most areas for a long period of time, other than wells, private wells. But metering, when people realize how much water they're actually doing, becomes very important. So
Agreed.
with that,
Thank you.
additional comments?
No additional comments.
All right, I'm going to place the motion 60-2025. Mr. Brandt, roll call vote.
Roll call vote for Resolution 60-2025. Commissioner Bolos?
Aye.
Commissioner Harvey?
Aye.
Commissioner Faur?
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, let's now go to G6, request for approval of the contract by and between Weber County and Promontory Commerce Center Public Infrastructure District Number 1, PID, supplementing anticipated excavation permits for a sewer lift station and related improvements. Mr. Meyerhofer, go ahead.
Commissioners, do you want to jump to 6 or do you want to do number 5? With the CDBG?
Oh, excuse me, 5.
So,
Oh, you've had 2
I'm
on this.
presenter on both of them,
All right,
so.
let's go back to that then. Let's do 5. Excuse me, request for approval to set the first public hearing date for December 16th to consider potential projects for which funding may be applied under the CDBG program. Sorry about that,
Yeah,
Chad. Go
no
ahead.
problem. Thanks, Commissioner. Yeah, so we'd like to request the approval to set that date as December 16th of 2025 for that first public hearing for the Community Development Block Grant Program. And that is the year 2026. I notice on here it does say 2016, but it would be the 2026 year program on it. So just want to see if we can set that date and have that public hearing next week, which we'll be able to go through some potential projects that could be funded through that program.
Great. So that is 2026.
Correct.
All right. Thought I was behind time there for a while. Okay, comments? Commissioner Harvey?
No, I'm ready to make a motion.
Commissioner Bolos, comments or questions?
No.
All right, I'll accept the motion.
We make a motion that we approve that funding for the CDBG program for that date,
Just to
help
set the
Chad out.
public hearing.
Just
Set-
correct, set that date for the public.
So date certain, December 16th, 2025, next week.
Correct.
Date.
Okay,
That's it. Thank
That's
you,
a
Mr.
motion.
Chair. Yeah,
Second.
and we have a second. I'll place the motion. All those in favor say aye.
aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you very much.
Aye.
Now,
Commissioner.
Chad, let's go to 6. Request for approval
There we go.
of a contract by and between Weber County and Promontory Commerce Center Public Infrastructure District Number 1, supplementing the anticipated excavation permits for sewer, or a sewer lift station and related improvements. I believe that's the one out on 900 South.
Correct, yeah, so they're looking at running a new sewer line from about 4100 west. It'll go down 900 south to about 4700 west and then cut back south to 12th Street and then go all the way out to about 5900 west. So this entails a gravity-fed line as well as a pressure line that'll come from 59 under the river and tie into the gravity one right around about 5100 west. So they're also doing a lift station out there to pressurize the sewer all the way back to Central Weaver. So this is just doing a little bit more of a supplement to our excavation ordinance to kind of clarify a few things. Just to kind of give you a few bullet points on it, the three things that it's mainly covering. First off, we have in our excavation ordinance that it's required to have the surface restored to a hard surface within 72 hours. The scope of work that they're looking at doing is quite extensive, and to be able to actually restore it within 72 hours is kind of probably not practical with this work going on. So we'd like to amend that, and also as part of the excavation ordinance, it's required to have that hard surface, which is really important for the wintertime for our roads guys to be able to continue to snow plow and keep that surface free so that the traffic can travel. So also amending that, the second thing is that they'll not restore it back to a hard surface, but they'll keep the maintenance down on it for a road-based surface. So they'll do the snow removal and stuff like that until it is a hard surface, which would be when the hot plants open up in the springtime for a portion of it, but have it all the way restored by, I believe our agreement says June 30th of next summer. And then the final item that's a little bit of amendment to it is it's required to have a bond associated with this. And as you commissioners know, there's some ARPA funding that's associated with this. And so we're actually using some of that ARPA funding to act as the bond to guarantee the restoration of the surface, and the project will be done. So hopefully that answers any questions you may have. If not, feel free to take it. I believe there is a representative here as well if you have additional questions. So,
Okay. Questions, Commissioner Harvey, Commissioner Bolos?
None from me.
I don't have any questions on this. We've been brought up to speed, I think, in our work sessions, and it's been very helpful. Thank you.
I do have one question. So I think you mentioned, we know that this is state-supplied ARPA funds on this project, which deadline is 2026. Does it appear that, based upon what you've seen, that they'll be able to complete this project within that time frame?
I think they will be able to complete a large portion of it and spend those dollars by that time. I think it's a rather large project that's a lot of funding that's also coming from the development developer as well. So they'll probably continue to still have some work going on after that deadline, but I think they can easily spend those funds. So,
all right, great. Nothing else? I'd accept a motion.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chair, that we approve this presentation with regards to the Commerce Center Public Infrastructure District Number 1 supplemental excavation permit as presented by Mr. Meyerhofer this morning.
Thank you for that.
Second.
And we have a second. I'm going to place a motion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion
Aye.
carries. Thank you very much. Let's now go,
Commissioners.
thanks, Chad. Let's now go to our agenda items H, public hearings. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn our public meeting and reconvene as a public hearing.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thanks. We're now in a public hearing. First public hearing will be discussion and/or action on ordinance 2025-28 and development agreement regarding a request from Ogden City to preserve and enable the transfer of development rights from approximately 24 acres of land located in the CVR1 zone at approximately 800 north, 5900 east in unincorporated Ogden Valley. Mr. Charlie Ewert. Charlie, the time's yours.
Thank you, Commissioners. Bear with me while I get this up on the screen for you. There we go. All right. So what you have in front of you, let me get to the property in question here. maybe. You've got a development agreement request from Ogden City. Ogden owns property at the end of Stringtown Road. Let's see here. I thought I'd get you a better picture. I guess not. So they own property at the end of Stringtown Road. You guys know which property we're talking about here. It's where their wellheads are. You can kind of see it in this image here. That image is an image of the wellhead protection zones for the drinking water source protection zones for that area, specifically for Ogden City's wells. Ogden picked up the property a few years back. They were hoping to do some transfers, use transferable development rights to move from this property to other properties up in the valley area. This is in the CBR1 zone. CBR1 zone, if they maximize their density, they could get up to about 21 units to the acre. So there's a lot that could happen on this 24-acre property. And so they're asking to not do development on it, and they're asking to maybe help compensate the taxpayers of Ogden City by transferring those rights or being able to sell them to other developers. After discussion and work session with you guys, we worked out some of the kinks, I think. What I heard from you guys, and let me know if I've got any of this wrong, is that you'd rather not design a program or create a program that tells the city what to do, but rather invites them to the conversation. But you're comfortable with the development agreement to transfer these into what will remain unincorporated in the DRR1 zones. So they went back, they retooled the development agreement to specifically accomplish those means, and now they're here asking for your approval.
Got it. Questions or comments? Commissioner Harvey.
Charlie, on this particular piece there, 21 units to the acre, that's 504 TDRs. In a work session, we talked about another number. Do you remember what that was?
Yeah, it was 521, I believe, and we might be talking about a rounding error. Let me see here. Here's the development agreement. So there's how the math pans out. You can't see that. There we go. So it's based off of square footage, and it's based off of units. So the amount of square footage they have is 1,045,550. And if you take that and you run the math on that, it equals 521, almost 522.
Thank you.
Additional questions?
Not at this time.
Commissioner Bolos.
I don't have any, thank you.
All right, so Charlie, just clarification. So I think in those work sessions, and I believe you said it, because of the new city and that we didn't desire to cause any impact development on the new city, that we said that if the TDRs would approve, it would have to go into remaining unincorporated Weber County.
That's right. That's what the development agreement says.
And that's what the DA says.
Yep.
Is that correct?
So,
Yep.
so it wouldn't go, sorry, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
It wouldn't go into the new city coming up. It would have to go into the unincorporated area of Weber County.
Yep, it would have to leave the new city, go into unincorporated. There's also a caveat in there that says if the city engages with the landowner and does some other kind of transferable development rights, that it'll be a one-for-one reduction. So if the city reduces, it automatically reduces for the county.
Great.
Okay.
That's what I was remembering. Thank you.
Which basically means it has to go at this point in time to one of the two ski resorts.
Right.
Is that correct?
Yep, those are the only areas in the DRR1 zone right now.
Okay. And I just might mention, in interest of full disclosure, because it may come up, this property was owned by our family back in the 1960s. I believe that we sold it not to Ogden City, but somebody else in the late 60s. I remember very fondly hauling a lot of hay off of that in the 60s, driving a 1959 Ford pickup. So in case that comes out, Ford family did own this at one time, which included 5 different families. I believe it was sold in probably late 60s, early 70s. That's one regret we have, is they oversold this. This was a great piece of ground. It grew great hay. So just for the newspaper when it hits, that's probably information. Okay. Anything else?
No, not.
Charlie, anything else?
Nothing from me.
Commissioner Bolos, anything else?
No, thank you.
All right, additional comments in from the public. Now's your time to come up to discuss this. Please introduce yourself, location, and please limit it to 3 minutes. You're on the clock. Go ahead.
My name is Jim Bird. I'm a resident of Ogden Valley, specifically unincorporated Huntsville. Commissioners Harvey and Farrar, thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm offering comments tied to the first public hearing item, but my remarks concern the broader process and timing affecting all three proposed development actions in Ogden Valley. As you know, we are less than a month from Ogden Valley City becoming incorporated. Land use decisions made now, especially rezonings and development agreements affecting large areas, will shape a future city that does not yet have the ability to speak for itself. When a major governance transition is underway, the responsible approach is caution, not acceleration. In fact, possibly the acceleration caused the issue that Jan Fulmer brought up. I want to emphasize, last year, our state legislature directly confronted this issue. With Senate Bill 322 in 2025, it would have locked in pre-incorporation zoning for the benefit of current landowners and would have restricted a new city's ability to adjust zoning for at least 1 year. The legislature rejected that bill. That decision by the legislature is meaningful. The state declined to adopt a policy that would constrain a newly formed municipality's authority. Approving these items today would create, through timing, what our legislators deliberately chose not to enact through law. At the same time, Utah Code 17-27A-504 gives the county a lawful, well-established tool, a temporary land use regulation when a compelling, countervailing public interest exists, ensuring an orderly, legitimate transition of land use authority to a soon-to-be incorporated city is unquestionably such an interest. A short pause is not, I want to emphasize, it's not anti-development. It is good governance. It allows the incoming city, directly accountable to Ogden Valley residents, the chance to make long-term decisions for itself. Moving quickly on major approvals during this transition period introduces long-term risks. It can create conflict between jurisdictions, invite legal challenges, and reduce public confidence in the process. None of that benefits residents, doesn't benefit landowners or the new city or the county. A brief delay avoids that risk and protects the integrity of both governments. I also want to be clear, this request is not directed at any individual applicant today or in the future. It is a request for structural fairness. Ogden Valley City will rely on Weber County for interlocal services, snow removal, policing, and cooperative planning. A thoughtful pause today strengthens that future working relationship. Commissioners, you have the authority, you have the statutory support, and you have a moment right now to demonstrate restraint, stewardship, and respect for the democratic transition underway. I respectfully urge you to postpone approval of these items and allow Ogden Valley City to begin with the ability to govern its own land use future. Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you for that. Good timing as well. All right.
Thank you.
Next, please come up.
Jan Fulmer, Eden. First of all, Commissioners, I apologize if I may be saying something that may have been clarified. We could not hear everything you may have said or Charlie said, okay? So, please, correct me. But number one, this came up before the Ogden Valley Planning Commission, and they voted not to approve it. In 2017, the city of Ogden realized they had to do something to protect their water. The wells are underneath this parcel. Ergo, nothing could be built there. Ergo, no development rights. There is a circle around this area that is a protected well water zone. It's rated as some category by the State Water Division. Right across the street from this parcel, a Mr. Fuller bought land that I believe was zoned agriculture. When he went to build on that, they said, "Nuh-uh, you're not allowed. You have no development rights because you're so close to these wells." So there's a dichotomy here, acknowledging that, yes, there are development rights here, but not across the street. And something is just not equitable. The other thing to note is we really do not have a formal TDR ordinance in place. We've always tried to get there, but haven't. And I don't know if this contradicts what may have been said, but if you're adamant about approving these 521 TDRs, which I suspect the city of Ogden wants to sell in bulk, will you please consider not allowing them to go to the form-based zone, especially within the new Ogden Valley boundary? That form-based zone has been used extensively throughout the valley. Rarely, if once, I found it in western Weber County where the rezones have occurred that are very distinctive of what's going there. Single family, multifamily. That really helps with planning. The form-based zone allows things to change. So I would just ask, if you're adamant about approving this, do not allow anything to go within the boundary of the new city, especially to the form-based zone. Thank you.
Thank you for those comments. Charlie, just to clarify, in the development agreement, it excludes anything within the city boundaries, is that correct? So I think, so just for knowledge, if this is approved, that anything that, any development rights would have to go to remaining unincorporated Weber County, which basically talks about the 2 ski resorts, not anything within the city boundaries that exist right now. So just so you're aware.
Mr. Chair, if
Yes.
I may, it would be the two of the 3 ski resorts,
Correct.
as the 3rd ski resort would be located within the new city. Just
That's
to be-
correct.
Just to be clear.
No, that's exactly right. Okay, anyone else? Now's your opportunity. Anyone online, Shelley, or?
No, the only person online is Sharon.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, let's go now to the next public hearing agenda item, which would be H4, public hearing for discussion and or action on an application to rezone approximately 28.65 acres of property located at approximately 3767 East, 4100 North in the unincorporated Ogden Valley from agricultural AV3 to the agricultural A1 zone. Charlie, time's yours.
Thank you again, Commissioners. So we've got a piece of property up in the Liberty area of the Ogden Valley. Landowners looking to change the zoning from the AV3 zone to the A1 zone. AV3, 3-acre minimum lot sizes, A1, 40,000 square foot minimum lot sizes, so roughly an acre. This is pretty close to the...
Say that again, Charlie. I don't want, make sure we get that clear.
AV3 is roughly, or excuse me,
Yeah.
3-acre minimum lot sizes, and A1 is roughly 40,000 square foot minimum lot sizes.
Thanks.
So about an acre. The Eden Park on this map, so you can see where we are. Eden Park is right here, 4100 North, crosses the screen at the top there with the new connection that heads to the west. As you can see on the image here, we've got smaller lots, half-acre or so lots in a cluster development across the street. We've got 1-acre lots next door to the east, and what you can't see off the screen to the south, we've got lots in that subdivision between 1.5 acres and 2.5 acres. So on 3 sides, this property is bounded by lots that are smaller than the 3-acre minimum. In addition to that, well, this is what the rezone would look like if it's approved from the AV3 to the A1 zone. This is the concept plan that the applicant has put together for the county to look at, and it's interesting to see. It's almost a mirror image of the neighboring subdivision. And then the other thing that the Ogden Valley Planning Commission looked at and that we looked at is how far away is this property from a village area, a planned village area from the Ogden Valley General Plan. So you can see here the quarter-mile radius of the center of the intersection where the park is, and there's a little bit of that overlaps into this property here. So that's the wrong one there. Okay, so the Ogden Valley Planning Commission recommended denial of this application. There were a few different reasons why, but in the motion, Commissioner Barber said, you know, he isn't opposed to having this one come back to the city and have the city make this decision as opposed to the county at some future date, maybe after the city's finished with their new general plan and their zoning ordinances. It is important to note that in the Ogden Valley there is no A1, there's no property zoned A1, even though the county has an A1 zone that could be applied to it. So if you do rezone this property, or if you don't rezone this property to A1, the city could probably just adopt the zones that apply up there, and the A1 zone wouldn't be one of them. If you do, the city would need to probably have the A1 zone at least adopted, or some rule governing non-conforming uses if they don't adopt it. That said, in your staff memo, you've got 3 options that we put together for you. The one option, last option, just start from the back, is just to deny the request and ask the applicant to go work with the city next month. Option, so that's option number 3. Option number 1 is just approve the rezone as the applicant is requesting. Option 2 is an option that I came up with after the Planning Commission's deliberation. They did discuss the possibility of what would be needed to make this rezone work. I mean, they really didn't want to see it happen. I think they're on point of principle that they want to see the city make the decision. But the biggest issue was upzoning this property gives the landowner about 3 times the number of development rights that they would have had in the 3-acre zone. And the applicant, the landowner, was not proposing to transfer any of those rights in. So just looking at what we've done on other projects regarding upzones, the Ogden Valley General Plan says we're going to do everything we can to not increase the net overall development potential. A lot of people think that says we're not going to increase development. That's not what it says. We're not going to increase the overall development potential that existing zoning has. So an upzone like this would probably be supportable by the general plan if those rights were transferred from parcels that we would want to see open. I did discuss with the applicant whether or not he'd be interested in engaging or entertaining a development agreement that specifically says in order to get this kind of a development they need to transfer development rights. There's a couple of other things that I mentioned to the Ogden Valley Planning Commission, which, by the way, my recommendation on this item was for denial as well because of the lack of transfers. But I did talk to the Planning Commission about other things that may help the project fit in with the community a little bit better. Where the general plan basically says no new density, it says basically no new density unless it substantially advances an objective of the general plan. One of the planning commissioners said, well, isn't the objective of the general plan to keep things rural, and isn't A1 still rural? So he's kind of putting together a pretty good argument for why an upzone could potentially be considered. But when I looked at this, I looked at possible betterments, including community pathways. I don't know if you've been up and seen that new road yet, but that new road has a beautiful pathway right off to the side. That's the kind of infrastructure that we can see when the county builds a project from ground up and has all the funding necessary to do that. Those pathways, I think, could be a really great asset for this community. It's really hard to do pathways in a rural community. The money's not usually there, and so you got to tap into whatever money can be there, and doing that through the development process is one way to tap into that. So one thing I mentioned to the Planning Commission, if they did want to approve this, I'll mention to you, is we got the power line corridor that runs east to west. Straight to the east along this power line corridor is the Wolf Creek development, and the county does have a plan to have a long-term plan to do a 10-foot wide paved pathway in this corridor. It'd be great if the applicant, took the bull by the horns and worked with Rocky Mountain Power, put in at least that first leg of this, but then had it stub into his development, so there's actually a destination for it to go to. And then long-term down the road, the future city could look at impact fees to finish building that project out. You guys know that further down the power line corridor in the Kobe Branch, we've got that pathway reserved in Kobe Branch, and we're working on trying to get that pathway reserved in a couple other spots as well. So that's option number 3 is approval with the development agreement. Applicant said that if that's the only option, he'd be okay with signing it. He'd probably rather just option 1, approve it as he's asked for it. But I think that's all the details I have for you, unless you have any questions for me.
Thank you, Charlie. Questions?
Not at this time.
Commissioner Harvey? Commissioner Bolos?
I don't have any at this time, thanks.
Does that conclude your presentation, Charlie?
That does, thank you.
All right, we'd now entertain any comments from the members of the public on this particular public agenda item. Please come up.
My name is Jeannie Wendell. I live in Liberty. I am on that map. I live in Liberty Meadows in a subdivision that it's a dead-end street. It has 16 homes. We are at the bottom of this, and I hope you guys don't go for this because they just put in that 2,000-foot deep well that is supposed to help the water development that's going to go up on near Nordic, and that has not even started to be used yet. In preparation for that, we have been weekly monitoring our wells to get historic data to make sure we can show that when that well starts, if it has any impact on us, because that's a worry that it's going to take all of the water and suck our 80-foot or 100-foot wells dry. So the 2,000-foot well hasn't even started yet. This man, or this development, wants to put in individual wells and septic on these smaller AV1 lots, or A1 lots, or whatever they want to call them, that we already don't know what the impact's going to be here, and whether the whole underwater aquifer will be able to recharge itself. So what he's wanting to do could really damage the infrastructure or the underneath. And the house at the end of our cul-de-sac, it just had to build the dirt up to be able to do septic. And he's on, I don't know, at least 2, if not up to 5 acres at the end of that. So I would ask that you not consider this at all, because the impact to all of the valley and the underwater, doesn't sound feasible to me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Anyone else?
Jen Fulmer in Eden. Commissioners, we have to look at this, at the situation is right now. And you do know we have issues in Ogden Valley with water and with sewage. Having these homes on 1 acre is prohibited right now by the Weber Morgan Health Department. In the late 1990s, they said no more homes with a well with the septic system on 1 acre. It has to be a minimum of 3 acres. As a matter of fact, with my last conversation with Summer Day, they were actually looking to changing it from 3 acres to possibly 5 to 6. And Summer knew that was not going to be a welcome decision because development rights could be lost. Now, I do know there are wells in this area that already have been drilled. If there's going to be 1 home per acre at this point in time, there has to be a well and a septic system. I know the county has submitted an RFP to see if it's feasibly possible from a cost perspective to pump the sewage from Ogden Valley, maybe over the mountains into western Weber County, to see if it can be processed. If someday we have a solution to that, that certainly will open up more clustered developments, because you will no longer have to have septic systems, but you still have to have the water, which still hasn't been resolved. So please, let's look at this as it stands today. Hopefully, someday down the road, the water and sewage issues will be addressed and we can continue with development. But please, let that be planned by the new city. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on this particular? Please come up.
Commissioners,
Welcome.
morning. My name's Earl Snyder. I live on the south end of the proposed development on 4100 North. I'm going to read a few things here. It says, one of the most important staples of the Ogden Valley General Plan is the guidance that zoning density increases should not occur unless it substantially advances another provision of the plan. This principle appears repeatedly woven through the land use chapter, rural chapter policies, and the community's long view of growth and management. Further, it directs the existing densities towards village areas. It increases densities by reducing density in more rural areas of the valley. This helps the community guide growth rather than allowing rural sprawl into agricultural or undeveloped lands. The general plan is explicit that increases in residential density outside of the village areas should occur only through TDRs. The rezoning from AB3 to A1 creates additional residential potential without increasing the rural character elsewhere in the valley. The proposal does not include clustering, open space, preservation, or rural land protections recommended by the plan. The Ogden Valley General Plan has a strong recommendation against increasing density unless doing so advances other plan goals in a substantial way. Applying this recommendation, the proposed rezone is found to be inconsistent with the general plan. Based on the application of the decision criteria, the section 102-5 and the general plan's directives for growth and density, the staff cannot make a positive finding that this rezone is consistent with land use policy for the Ogden Valley. That's the summary from the proposal prepared by your own planning commission. One of the things they haven't taken into effect yet is the new well that was into the ground for Weber County, or for Nordic Valley. The exclusion zone will extend into the proposed changes. So he may have 21 acres or 21 lots there, but how many of those will be excluded because they will be in the exclusion zone for the county? Water is always an issue, always will be until it's proven otherwise. So my recommendation would be to deny it at this point because there are just too many unknown variables and it does not fit into the Ogden Valley Master Plan. Thank you.
Thank you for those comments. Next. Anyone else? All right. Commissioners, that brings us to H6. With no objection, Commissioners, I'm going to move that we hold the ordinance 2025-29 until next week, based upon the information received from the audience that this may not, even though it meets the legal requirements, in my opinion, we should always err on the side of making sure that the public has the information they need to make good decisions. So without objection, Commissioners, I'm going to move that we place that time certain on the 16th.
I'm sorry, I have another question.
Go ahead.
Commissioner Ford, I don't have the numbers on my copy here on my laptop, so can you tell me what you're referring to?
So that would be the 2025-29 public hearing to discuss approximately 6 acres moved from the FV3 zone to the FB zone in the unincorporated Weber County. That would be the parcel located next to Nordic Valley.
Okay, so you're proposing that we go ahead with the public hearing, but that we hold the decision on this once we leave the public hearings, is that correct?
Yeah, so I'm proposing that we hear the public comments, but the commission does not take any action until next week or a time certain.
On number,
I can support that. Can I add one thing?
Go ahead.
I received several emails, and typically I will respond to those people, but I am out of town right now, so I just want to let anyone in the public know that I have read those. I didn't have time to respond, but I would also ask at the time, Commissioner Frower, if ask those who emailed to just allow us to refer to those emails rather than hear those comments again.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd planned on hearing from the public, so we don't have to, if they don't wish to come back next week, they don't have to, so. Commissioner Harvey, you okay if we hold that?
so you're talking about the decision, holding the decision.
Holding the decision.
On the one near Nordic Valley, item number 6.
Right. Have the public hearing. Let's hear the public now, since.
So that would be 2025-30. Thank you. I just wanted to restate, I think you might have said 29, at least I did. So that's my better understanding. I get it now. I got it. I'm with it. So this
Okay.
one regarding, this next one coming up, 2025-30, regarding the 6 acres at Nordic Valley, we'll hear the comments, Mr. Chair, if I'm understanding you correctly. We'll hear the comments today, but we'll hold the decision until next week. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly right, except I
Thank
want
you.
to clarify, on my agenda, I'm showing 2025-29. Should be 30? Okay. I'll cross 29 out and put 30. All right, stand
Thank you.
corrected.
Okay.
All right.
Commissioners, just to make a point of clarification, you've satisfied the legal requirement for the public hearing today. Based on holding it and new information coming or updated information, you will have the ability to determine whether you want to take additional comments, but that will be at your discretion.
Yeah, next week.
Yes.
And so I think we'll allow Commissioner Bolos to make that decision, since he'll be in charge of the agenda next week. But my intent is, since we do have people here today that may want to speak to this, so without objection, are you okay with that?
I'm okay
Commissioner
with
Harvey?
that.
Commissioner
Happy to.
Bolos, you okay with that proceeding?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so let's go that, with that understanding, we're now going to hear public comments on 2025-30, development agreement rezoning approximately 6 acres from FV3 to FB zone, form-based in the unincorporated Weber County area known as Nordic Valley, for the creation of a 6-lot subdivision. Charlie, let's go to your presentation first.
Thank you again, Commissioners. Brief presentation on this one. This one, just to start off, the Ogden Valley Planning Commission also recommended denial on this one. They had a number of findings for that recommendation. So on your screen, maybe. Is it not coming up on my side? Let me try again. Oh, maybe we do it without the images. In your staff memo, you can see the graphic depiction of this project, but you can see the project area. If you turn the 2 pages in, you can see Exhibit B. Shows you that project area. This project is this rezone is a proposal by Dan Mabey, looking to get the form-based zone applied to 2 lots in the Asgard Heights subdivision, which is over in the Nordic area. The property does, if you flip through the packet, you could find the Planning Commission staff report. Property does sit in the street regulating plan area for the Nordic Village. The street regulating plan recommends small lot residential for this area specifically. Small lot residential allows up to 4 dwelling units per lot. But after discussion with you, after discussion with the applicant, it became pretty clear that the applicant only wants to do single-family dwellings, and it sounded like you guys, if you were supportive of this, would only want to see single-family dwellings there as well. So the applicant has reconfigured the proposal to only be 6 lots instead of the 10 that he was originally proposing. The smallest of those 6 is a 0.95 acre lot. The rest of them are larger than that. He's also proposing installing a private street with a turnaround at the end of it, which we do have code that specifically governs that kind of thing. And that would satisfy the requirement under the street regulating plan to place a street right there. So that street would provide access and frontage to all 6 of the lots if the development is approved. This is just a rezone. This isn't a development proposal per se. He's still got to go through the subdivision process and prove that he's got access to water and sewer and all that. So it's pretty simple request, maybe not a simple answer though. If you guys have any other questions for me.
So Charlie, give me the zones on either side of this property.
On both sides, it's zoned by, well, 3 sides, it's zoned FV3, which is 3 acre minimum, Forest Valley. Across the street is zoned form-based.
Form-based across the street?
Yep.
Okay. So directly north of this parcel is FV3?
Yep, FV3 until, I think it's just a few hundred more feet, and then it goes to AV3. So
Okay.
still 3 acre minimum.
And then to directly south, when you start getting to the Nordic property, that's under form-base.
It is.
So that would be higher density.
Yep, it would be. Yeah, that's where their village center is going to be. Now, directly south, their plan calls for multifamily residential directly south of this project and open space. So it's not right in the heart of that village area, but it certainly will have more dwelling units on it.
Got it. Okay. Anything else? Questions for Mr. Ewert?
I'd like to hear the public comment, and then I'll have some questions for Mr. Ewert following that, if that's okay, Mr. Chair.
That's great. Commissioner Bolos, questions?
Not right now.
All right. Thanks, Charlie. Let's hear now, again, keeping in mind that we will not take any legislative action on this today, but we are going to hear any public comments since you've taken the time to be here on this particular land use issue. Please come forward.
Jan Fulmer, Eden, Utah. I'm sorry you're looking at me so much today, but the form-based zone has been used extensively throughout Ogden Valley. It defies any logic on planning for build-out for the valley. Whoever owns this parcel, if it is zoned to form-based, can sell it to someone else. That person may be able to get TDRs from a valley farm someplace, and it could expand to many more than 6 or 10 units. All I can say is I just wish we had the opportunity to zone as it's being done in western Weber County. It supports logical planning, single family, multifamily, not form-based, which can change. That is the comment I will add today, but I'm sure I'll be back next week also. So thank you.
We'll look forward to next week. Okay, anyone else? Now's your opportunity. Welcome.
Thank you. David Zorn. I live in the Nordic area, just adjacent to the proposed development. My only comment is on the form-based zoning. If you look at all of the surrounding properties to the Nordic development, none of us have inquired, to my knowledge, or are seeking rezoning. I don't think that this property, the 6 acres, I don't think that need was ever part of the discussion. And I think if a decision is made before the new city is in place, then the rest of us that live in the property that surrounds the Nordic development would pretty much be denied the same consideration if we wanted to seek a rezoning to the same designation. We wouldn't have the ability to have the same limited focus on whether or not there's actually need, but just to have it, follow suit with what's already been done. So my hope and my recommendation would be to follow the Planning Commission and deny and allow the city to determine whether or not the city itself wanted to proceed with that zoning designation to any future properties. And I think that's really all that I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you for those comments. Anyone else? Now's your opportunity.
Hello,
Welcome.
my name is Jane Owens, 2834 Nordic Valley Road. I have a couple of questions for the commissioners based on the last meeting, but also just some comments, and I respect Commissioner Bolos's comments about not repeating ourselves, because we did. My husband and I sent an email to the commissioners. My first question, I understand you can't answer me directly, or perhaps you can. At the last meeting, you were very driven to be boots on the ground in our neighborhood, to go and visit this site and actually walk around, and we offered you, in response to that, folks like myself, to walk you around that area to make sure you saw it and could appreciate our situation, especially with the active build-out of Nordic Village. It's been a stressful time for us, and so we just wanted you to see the situation. So I would hope that this is captured in the minutes, that if you did or did not attend the area and walk around. My only further comments, I guess, are around just touching on some points in my email, if you would allow me that, is sufficient open space. I understand I'm hearing today about a compromise from 10 lots to 6 or 6 buildings. Will that provide us with the open space sufficient that it won't impinge on the neighbouring FV3 dwellings? Also, to make sure that this is indeed a blend, considered blended with the general plan. It's not considered high density, from what I believe. But also the last thing is, and I'm hearing it, I think, from Jan, the precedent here for further or additional semi-high density in this area. Are we opening ourselves up, and the valley being opened up for this if we approve this in the form-based zone request? I think that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Now's your last opportunity. Okay.
Hi, Christopher Vosberg, same address as Jane, 2834 Nordic Valley Road. My concern is there's only 2 water hookups for that whole 6 acres. So where does Mr. Maybe plan on getting the additional 6 hookups? Or is it 8 hookups for 10 houses there? Water seems to be a pretty big issue. And with all the new wells being drilled, we're just concerned that all of a sudden the water shortage is going to be a bit more radical than anyone had planned. And that's it.
Okay. Thank you for that. Anyone else? Going once? Twice? I guess that's 3. All right. Seeing no one rushing the mic, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn this public hearing and reconvene as a public meeting.
So moved.
second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, motion carries. Thank you very much for that. So we're going to take action. I'm going to make one motion, if I might, which would be to place a formal motion that agenda item H6 be held until next week for the next available commission meeting, which at that point in time, any legislative action would take place.
I'll second that motion with a comment.
Go ahead.
On our agenda, just for those of you who don't have the paperwork, that would be the 6-acre development or the maybe development in Nordic Valley.
Okay.
Roll call vote, or is it a roll call?
I don't believe it's a roll call. I believe as long as we capture who votes on the minutes.
You got the motion? Okay. All those in favor, I'm going to place the motion. Say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. Thanks. So H6, which would be the FB3 zone to the FB zone, 6 acres, will be held next week at the discretion of Commissioner Bolos. All right, so let's go back to H2, which is approval of the ordinance and development agreement regarding a request from Ogden City to preserve and enable the transfer of development rights from approximately 24 acres of land located in the CVR1 zone at approximately 800 north, 5900 east in the unincorporated Ogden Valley. I just want to clarify, so there's no confusion, that under that development agreement, the TDRs, if they are allowed, would have to be transferred to unincorporated Ogden Valley, which basically would be the 2 ski resorts that are unincorporated, which would be Powder Mountain and Snow Basin. So, action, comments, questions?
Comments, if I may.
Go ahead.
First off, I'd like to, on this first item, which was item 2, there were 2 people who spoke in our public hearing. One, Mr. Crockett, I'm going to go to you for these questioning. The first one had to do with Mr. Byrd and the legality of whether or not this body can make a decision or should make a decision here. Can you speak to that, please?
The way that I read the code, the way that I view the current position that we are in the incorporation process and the recent litigation that we've been involved in, the county retains its full jurisdictional authority to render decisions on land use. The new city does not exist yet. The options that you have available to you are agree and approve, deny, the option to enter into a temporary land use or a moratorium is there. I would recommend it procedurally that if you were to do that, you would be blanket, and that you would actually, if you decide to do that, do a denial of this particular action. But that's just procedure, just one of the options. Because there's ways that the formal land use application has been submitted. They are entitled to a decision. And so I would either say you either approve it or deny it. If you, and then entertain the moratorium issue separately if you choose to do so.
Thank you. If you may indulge me, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
For those in the room, because, look, I've been thinking heavily about this for a long time. Thank you. I'm using my mic, but I'll go closer to my mic. How's that? Thank you. First of all, I know that many of you in the room, I feel bad because it's my opinion, and this is my opinion, that some of the information that's been spread in the Ogden Valley has not been complete. 10 times 10 doesn't equal 1. It's okay if we leave off a couple of zeros. 10 times 10 does not equal 1, it equals 100. That's the complete answer. More than 9 years ago, the people who were very vocal in the valley were called the GEM Group. Leaders of that GEM Group 3 of them came to my office and it was about 9.5 years ago, and begged me to adopt the plan, the general plan, which took the density off of the mountains and put it on valley floors in specific areas. They begged me to do that, and I listened to them and voted with them. It wasn't a unanimous vote in this commission, but it was successful, and it passed 2-1. And with the applause and the thank you cards and everything else came all the thank you for supporting us in the Ogden Valley. What that did is it took the density, again, off the mountains and put it on the valley floor in specific areas. Mr. Ewert, I know we've tabled this. Can you come to the mic?
Happy to.
Thank you. Currently, the item that was just held, number 6, what is that zoned currently, the 6 acres?
That is zoned FV3.
Is it currently, so it's currently FV3? I thought you told me it was on the form base, and so it would be multifamily homes.
If the rezone is approved, it would be form-based. And so they could do multiple homes on a lot.
Okay, thank you. Well, that's good we held it. Thank you, Charlie.
You're welcome.
I realize that decision to do higher density is not popular. I've lived through that myself 30 years ago. I did the same thing 30 years ago. I got into this 10 years ago because I was not happy with the way government was representing me. And it worked out, I guess. I thought it was. I'm not a career politician. Just like everybody else who sits in this audience right now, but had the courage to put my name on the ballot, and I'm doing my best to listen and change things. I'm also doing my best to stay out of legal battle. I'm grateful for people like Chris Crockett that help protect us, because I hate paying property tax to defend ourselves. As with regards to this, please adopt our plan, that came with the density rights. This was part of that. I'm going back to speak to item number 2 in reference to the development rights. This was part of that. Transferring, I am not for adding more density to the valley floor. And so that will speak to my next comments I'll have later in item number 4, but for item number 2, but I'm also not for taking away property rights. So for me, Mr. Chair, I'm ready to make a motion on number 2 when you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve those property rights or those TDRs as long as they're in the unincorporated area of Weber County and not back into the city, the newly formed city. So those, if the city decides to enter into a negotiation with Ogden City, that's on them. But they can make that decision, not us. So as was presented today by Mr. Ewert, I'm motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion. Commissioner Bolos, comments, questions?
I'll second that motion.
We got a second. I'm just going to make a comment. So, again, I'm very familiar with this particular site. Very important to Ogden City because of the water rights. So I've struggled with this, well, actually for the past several years since Ogden City brought this to my attention. I was hopeful that Ogden City would push this not until the last hour, but now that we are here, we'll have to deal with it. But it comes down in my mind to one factor, and that do they have rights, understanding very clearly that this would be a very difficult parcel to develop. But that being said, I don't think it's my right to say that somebody couldn't come in, or until that's been pursued, the rights to take water rights or TDRs, development rights, away based upon what I would pose would be a very difficult piece to develop. But that being said, I think at this point in time, with the motion, with the development agreement in place, that this does not in any way impact the new city, which is always the top of our mind. It comes down to a finance or business decision between Ogden City and the two resorts. What value they may have, I don't know. I'm assuming probably with what I understand with the development rights currently existing in both those areas, probably very little value. But it does give the opportunity to Ogden City to recoup possibly some of the money that they put into supplying a very important water source to Ogden City residents. So I think we need to recognize that, and that then becomes a business decision in terms of what those property development rights, TDRs, may be worth. With that, I'm going to place the motion. Mr. Brandt, roll call vote.
Roll call vote for ordinance 2025-28. Commissioner Bolos?
Aye.
Commissioner Harvey?
Aye.
Commissioner Faur?
Aye. Motion carries. Thanks. Let's go to H4, request for approval an application to rezone approximately 28.65 acres of property located at approximately 3767 East, 4100 North in the unincorporated valley from agricultural AV3 to the agricultural A1 zone. Comments, questions, back to the commission for action and/or comments.
I've got a question.
Go ahead.
It's a question for Charlie.
Charlie?
I read the recommendation by the Planning Commission. I believe it was a 5-2 vote to deny. Can you tell me if this complies to the general plan?
In my opinion, if there are transferable development rights, yes, I would have recommended approval based off of its compliance with the general plan.
Okay, that's my only question. Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner Bullis. Commissioner Bullis, any other questions, comments? Time's yours.
I don't think so. Thank you.
Commissioner Harvey.
One more thing. Charlie, you gave three options. This is contrary to what you said in item number 2, Mr. Crockett. Charlie gave three options. One, to approve. Number 3 would be to deny. You went 3, then 1. 2 was in the middle, but asked the developer to include, he'd have to transfer development rights within the valley floor to that area. That's how it works. They couldn't take it from what we just approved and move it there. They'd have to take it from somewhere else that's on the valley floor existing to move it there. So there would be a cost factor to that, and that's just part of the cost of the development. I'd like that idea. I also like the idea of connectivity and pathways. In all the decisions we make, I like the idea of active transportation and connected pathways so people have an option to get to and from places without the use of a car. I also like, and someone else, Mr. Snyder, you were very respectful in your comments about sewer and septic. I would want to see a sewer system of some type interconnected, and them have to join either one of the many existing districts up there. But that's, for me, if there were going to be any compromise, all three of those things would have to take place. Otherwise, that's where I am on. That's just the discussion I've got for now. I'm not ready to make a motion quite yet on this, but that's where I am on that right now.
Thank you for that.
I would probably be, Commissioner, I'd probably want to hold this, not necessarily to a date certain, but because I want to, where Charlie just came up with that third option, I don't want to just say no. I'm not going to say yes to the current, but considering item number 2, that would be my, I'd like to make a formal motion to hold.
Is that a motion?
I will second that motion.
Is that a second, Commissioner Bolos?
I'll second a motion to hold, yes.
To hold? All right.
I think that's just fine. It's basically a representation of what the county is willing to consider. The current proposal, as is just not acceptable. So they'd have to come back and address your concerns.
Okay, I'm going to make a comment on that. I'm going to support that. My first reaction was that I'm in favor of denying this because for a couple reasons. Number one, I've been pretty clear with the Ogden Valley Planning Commission or the people in the valley, even though sometimes it doesn't get communicated in the correct manner, that I've never been in favor of increasing development rights, but I have been in favor of preserving development rights, and that's what this commission has done over the last several months, is those people that came to us, those landowners that said, I want to preserve my rights, I'm in agreement with. But in no case have I told our planning commission or gone on record that I support increasing density rezoning at this point in time. That should be left up to the new city. Now, that probably won't get in the newspaper, but that's the facts. So I think that it's very important to understand that this would be a rezone that increases density, whether that came back to us at a time where TDRs were involved, that was basically then a transfer from one to the other. That's probably consideration. Also, I want to make a comment. There was a number of comments both on this and also on the Nordic piece about water and sewer. Please keep in mind that Weber County does not approve either water or sewer. We approve land use. It then becomes an obligation of the landowner, the developer, to come back to Weber County and show that they have sufficient water, that, by the way, I mentioned again, is owned by the state, that's in retail to a retail water user in Ogden Valley or Lower Weber County. And then for sewer, they go to Weber Morgan Health for either approval of septic or a self-contained system. Again, the county does not approve water and sewer usage. We approve land use. It then becomes a responsibility of the landowner to come back and prove that they have water and sewer connections, or that development goes nowhere. So please keep that in mind. I know that that's water and sewer become a big issue. That's not a county function. Talk to your retail water suppliers, your retail sewer or Weber Morgan Health about those connections. But know that that's the process that we follow. Again, if you question that or want to change that, I suggest you talk to your state representative or state senator. That comes through state code, not from Weber County. So with that, Commissioner Harvey, you want to restate your motion?
I'll restate the motion that we hold item number 4 on our agenda at this time.
Okay, we have a motion. And Commissioner Bowles, did I hear a second?
Maintain my second, yes.
All right. Roll call vote on holding. Do we need a roll call vote or
just a vote?
No, just as long as we identify how Commissioner Bolos votes, because she's participating electronically.
Okay. All right. All those in favor say aye.
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 I'll vote aye.
Okay. Thank you for that time delay. All right. Any comments, Commissioner Bolos? We're about ready to adjourn here.
I don't have any. Thank you for letting me join electronically. I appreciate the participation of the public who came as well.
Thank you. Appreciate you joining us online. All right.
Mr. Chair, motion to adjourn.
All those in favor, I second it. Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. We're now adjourned.